What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Scrap Time. We are in the final home stretch of the season. The Major 4 qualifiers are back to back after a fantastic Major 3 last weekend. And always, I'm joined by my panel to discuss last weekend and the upcoming matches this weekend as we get ready for the qualifiers, Major 4 in Dallas, champs, etc. We've had some roster changes, some lack of roster changes. We're going to get into it, but let's start with introducing our panel in the top right, the human turd himself, Mr. Sam Octane, enjoying some Warzone rank play today. How was that?
Got hacked on.
No
To the shock of everybody.
Is hacking more rampant in Warzone now? I heard it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad for like 2 weeks, and then I think they've figured
There's
it
some
out.
discount sales.
Yeah, they figured it out. It was fine for a little while though. It was actually really fun to play Verdansk without getting hacked on, and then it kind of went to the gutter.
Oh,
last
Sam, don't kill yourself. Seriously.
Before you said that, I was going to. So it's actually huge that you said not to do that.
Okay.
It was actually massive. Thank you,
I
Cap.
could tell. I could
Just
tell by
talking
the
off the
vibe.
ledge. Holy fuck! Thank you guys. I'm great though. Other than that, Dallas doesn't have a wide receiver too. Just throwing that out there.
Yes, hands for the draft. Are you switching careers? Like,
Nah, dude. It was objectively a good draft, so I can't be angry at it. But I didn't like the approach. But it was a good draft.
Chelly, you're a Raiders fan, right?
Yeah, we got my boy Genty.
Yeah.
I don't really know other than that. Geno Smith is still my quarterback, and my coach has early onset, so it's not ideal.
Early on.
Early onset what?
Dementia.
Sure.
Shout out Pete Carroll. But no, I mean, being a Raiders fan has been the worst last 20 years of my life, so I don't expect that to change anytime soon. And I don't think Genty's the answer, but I mean, it's cool to have supposedly like a generational running back, but we'll see. So
Nice.
Well, appreciate you hopping on, Chelly. Chelly always the goes Tottenham's corner, like go love it. Cap, obviously Eagles. I think another good draft from Howie. You love to see it. But other than that, how you been?
Always trust Howie. I've been all right. More of the same shit, man. Licking walls.
Licking walls. Bro, we need to get clubs. Listen, I know I say this every
I'm
week.
talking about clubs, Ben. Clubs
We
is
gotta
dead.
get clubs going.
Clubs is so dead.
I don't
It's the
know
same
why is
combo
it,
every
why is it
episode.
I
dead,
know.
though?
It's Ben lives for clubs.
I love clubs, man.
It's just there's no dope in clubs.
There's a lot of dope. Me arguing with Shane is good dope. Anyway, enough of all that. As a Giants fan, by the way, great draft that is shown. But I think we'll still suck.
Jackson Dart.
We have the world's hardest schedule in the NFL next year. So
Wait, is the schedule out already?
no, like
That's not out
the
yet.
game, the match, like the order of the games, but like the teams we're playing, I think we have the hardest strength of schedule in the NFL.
Oh
That's
no,
why like
that's so awful.
our win totals at 5.5 right now or some shit. So
Oh no.
all right, let's get into it. We got a couple things to talk about before getting to match previews. Let's talk about last weekend. Major 3 took place in Florida. Event looked a little bit weird on broadcast. I will say it didn't seem like the world's grandest event of all time. But LA Thieves finally get it done after much complaining by everybody on the show. They finally get one on the board. Dan Ghosty also gets one on the board after so many misses in grand finals. Vancouver were your runners-up, and they got 4-0 shellacked again in back-to-back events. Toronto with a sub Hercules getting third, and you see the rest here. Miami in their top 4, Boston stuck top 6, FaZe maybe a little bit of a surprise top 6 there. OpTic hard stuck T8, Minnesota not really making up any ground on them, and the teams in dead last, no real surprises there. But I want to start with you, Cap. Like, what were your kind of one or two thoughts coming out of last weekend?
Well, my first thought was Sam called. The LA Thieves have to take advantage of the event. And, with FaZe looking a little shaky, and they did. They looked pretty dominant the whole time. So shout out those guys taking care of business. Shout out Vancouver, back-to-back seconds, but goddamn, their finals performances are fucking rough as a viewer.
Yeah.
The finals are just boring, back-to-back events. And yeah, shout out Toronto. Joe, my boy Joe, sub Hercules. They had a hell of an event.
Chelly, what were your thoughts coming out of the event? Similar to Cap?
I mean, the results of the event, sure. I'm more worried about the fact that looked like the most poorly run CDL event probably since the beginning of the league. We had players getting controllers stolen and speakers stolen and personal items yoinked from the players' lounge. Like, we got to be better as a CDL. I know people were kind of harping on the fact that there wasn't a lot of people there first couple of days, but I don't know what went down at this event this past weekend, but it sounds like it was just an entire shit show from Ben. You could probably speak more on this from a CDL point of view, but like, what went wrong this weekend? Because that was absurd.
I think the common denominator, unfortunately, and I don't really want to be like, I'm trying to be a dick about it, but like, I just think both the events that Florida/Miami have run in the back-to-back years have just been the worst events of the year. I thought last year the Fort Lauderdale event was just kind of empty and bland, and then this year it's just not really the right size of a venue. I had heard some chatter what was coming out of the event from folks that, you know, they had issues like finding a venue of appropriate size, and that may have led to the selection here. It's just, again, I just think the event selection process is just poor on the CDL side, and they're allowing teams to get kind of into these negative situations. So I think you'll see with the next event, DreamHack, like I think it's going to be more what we expect as far as a quality of an event. I think Toronto will run a quality champs in EWC. I think the next three will be good, but this was definitely the weakest of the set.
We got to figure out a way to get Atlanta to host a major. I mean, how is literally a top 3 team year in, year out not hosting a major every single year? Like, that should be rule number 1, step number 1. So I don't know.
We've been busting Kayson's balls about it for a while now. He seems every time we ask him, he says it seems to be out of their hands. I don't know.
Well, Kayson actually had a different answer last weekend. He said that he might be chefing something up, so we'll see.
Well, he's also hosting another event in Anaheim potentially as well. So this guy's all over the place.
Yeah, I think they're finally coming around to a way to get an Atlanta phase hosted event, either solo or maybe combo. So more, I'll press Kayson, maybe talk to Paul, see if we get more details on that. But that's what it sounds like. What's going on there? Sam, we'll finish up with you. Any additional thoughts you want to add coming out of last weekend?
I don't think so. I mean, with phases form, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I still had them making a deeper run than top 6. So I think them bombing out a little bit was surprising. LAT winning, I think everybody had in the whole community. So that was good. Vancouver making a final, like you guys already touched on, although getting blown out is still extremely tippable. I mean, from where that team was at the start of the season to grabbing NEP to making 3 finals in a row is kind of nuts. So definitely flowers there, but the rest of the placings other than Toronto is kind of par for the course. OpTic was pretty bad prior. Boston got top 6 again. I think other than that, it was a pretty routine tournament. I kind of just wanted to agree with Chelly. There needs to be a standard set for the CDL events, and the one being compared to the Halo World Championship in like Burbank with the balloons outside of it is definitely not one you want. So I mean, going forward, that just cannot happen.
Yeah, they definitely need to clean it up. All right. A couple of other things before we get into sort of our match previews is we do have a couple of tweaks going into this stage. And the biggest one, because we had a new patch today, and I don't think there's massive major changes. Doesn't sound like they're playing on the new patch this week, and we'll get more info on the show next week as far as the repercussions, new GA, stuff like that. But something that we will see reflected this coming week is Rewind Hardpoint is back, and it is out. Protocol Hardpoint is out for Rewind. So Rewind, which was removed because it wasn't played, is now back in. Bit of a perplexing decision that. I'll start with you, Sam. You just as confused as I am about this change?
No, I mean, it shouldn't have been out anyway. I think Rewind should have been a mainstay for the majority of the season. I mean, it was just like a weird communication error because they didn't really give their reasoning for the first map pool change, which I'm like kind of okay with, but the logic that went into it was a little weird because they said that they were going to use the frequency in which the map was played as the metric for adding and removing maps. But at the time of Rewind being removed, red card was actually played less, and they kind of just sniped Rewind out of the pool for some reason. So I'm not surprised that it's back. I saw people not liking that it was gone for Protocol, which I completely disagree with. I think Protocol was just not a good map. Having a 4-lane map and just the amount of chaos on it, I didn't agree with. And I think that the map pool this year, as bad as it is, adding another map that you have to use your brain a little bit on rotation is always nice. So I'm a fan of Rewind being back personally, because I think other than Hasi and Red Card, every other map in this game is just like spawn up and run forward. So especially a little biased for LAT. I was
just about to say, congratulations, Los Angeles, your 2025 Call of Duty World Champions.
Yeah, they were pretty good at it.
Because this map pool, I mean, this addition to their map pool this was their best map. This was their best hardpoint. Like, I know it was really early. We didn't have a lot of sample size, but teams would just auto veto Rewind against them. And as you can see, I mean, you let Scrap and Ghosty cook on that map, and then you had Paco and Envoy who were just literally, you let them loose around Elephant, they could never be found. Something to also note, 04 on Rewind was disgusting. So this Vancouver team now potentially has a Rewind hardpoint to add to their bag. That makes them even better. So, I mean, this kind of favors the teams at the top, adding this map back into their pool. So,
Yeah, because I think FaZe only played it once, and it was against Thieves, and they actually beat him on it. Obviously, we know Thieves' strength. I'm curious to see if the meta's evolved on it, but
Yeah, I was going to say that the meta definitely is, if it hasn't shifted, is going to shift quickly, especially now late in the season. Like, teams haven't played this map in months. Like, it's like, all right, we got to put some focus on this map, figure out how to play it efficiently quickly. Obviously, they have ideas from start of the year, but you know, it's not muscle memory at this point. It's going to be very different. And to the original point, Protocol is just a terrible map. Just the design, then a whole underground lane. You know, you got zips everywhere. Like, that are like key parts of the map. You have zip lines. Like, I just will never like those things in a map design. I think they just create random timings, create flukiness. So a map like Rewind, that maybe there's some flaws with it. Maybe spawns on what we want. Who knows? But a map like Rewind, just the layout of it is, in my opinion, going to be better than a map like Protocol every day of the week.
yeah, I mean, Rewind kind of sucks. I think I'd feel a lot more okay with the change if it wasn't for Rewind, because I personally hate that.
I mean, I think we just have a bad map pool in this game.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But like,
The maps in this game are on par with MW19.
yeah, my thing is just you look at the layout of Rewind, that map is going to be better than Protocol. Like, I refuse to believe, like, Protocol is just fluky. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's just fluky. I don't like the way that's going to play out.
I mean, I think it's the only map that doesn't have multiple levels. I think Rewind's literally the only one that we play that doesn't have multiple levels to it. So
we don't have that 6-star Vista Rio combo that we got last game that really spiced up the map pool. We just don't have that this year. As we have talked time and time again on this pod and other pods, like, map design's important. So I know the league's trying. The criteria is a little bit inconsistent, but they're not really working with much, to be honest. So
Sam, have you played Haven yet?
it's too small.
I mean,
It's a gunfight map, basically.
oh my god, dude.
it's just like too small even for 4v4.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's like it's people. Someone in my chat mentioned Rio earlier. I'm trying to give you like a map comparison. It's like a Nuketown sized, basically.
No.
That's not
I think from end to end, it's like Nuketown sized. It's not big.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Barrage and Grinder out. Like, those are horrible.
Barrage hardpoints are only hope of changing
fuck
the
it, let's-
I
hardpoint
let's-
map.
hate Barrage, bro.
Let's ditch
I hate
control. Everybody nominates 2 people. We get either Bounty or Barrage or fucking
Bro, Bounty.
play 2v2
Map was
hard
lit.
points and get third game mode. Fuck it. Like,
Map is lit.
Bounty.
anyway, so it's unfortunate.
Haven's not viable.
Haven doesn't work. I think at this point we're probably selling the map pool unless something crazy comes in before champs, but I doubt it. So. All right, so let's get into it. As always, we have Major 4 qualifiers coming up. They are going to be 5 matches each for every team. So similar to last stage, no minor tournament. As always, let's take a look at the standings. Right now, LA Thieves are occupying the first place. They're guaranteed champs at 410. So are FaZe at 390. A good placing for Toronto has them in third. But Vancouver is hot on their tail. So that third, fourth race is going to be really interesting to watch. And then there's a big gap to Carolina, who keeps sliding down the standings, cooling down in 5th and could theoretically be maybe 7th by the end of this. Miami at 185, Boston at 180. And then OpTic Texas currently in the last spot for champs at 145. Which leaves 2 teams competing on the outside now. Minnesota at 115 did not make a change after this event. And C9 at 105, which did make a change we'll get to later. LAG, Vegas, both in the double digits going to EWC. Any surprising things in the standings, guys, before we move to the matches?
Maybe how bad Carolina's sliding.
Yeah.
I think everything else is pretty fine. I mean, OpTic being where they are, obviously nobody had, but with their forms in stage 2, I don't think it's that surprising. Maybe preseason it would have been, but I think the one thing for me is just how bad Carolina's been, man. Like they were so good to start the season, they were so consistent, and then since then they've just they've been awful.
No, it's bad.
How many points did OpTic have after major one, like at the end of major one?
I'm not
You
sure.
know?
No clue.
I'm just curious how many points they've gotten over the last two stages. I think is
Well, they got what top? They got back top 8s. So
Yeah,
They got
so
15 plus they won like 6 matches online. So I think they had like 75,
Jeez, dude.
60, 75 points. Going
Yeah.
that, yeah.
did
It's,
you guys see the stat that they haven't beat a champs qualified team?
it's
They're
January.
like 0 and whatever, and like 3 and 30 map
13.
count or something.
I think it was 0 and 13.
Yeah.
I didn't verify that, but I read the replies to that tweet and no one was correcting him. So I take it as truth when no one's correcting him.
You know,
Fuck me.
they're in a tough spot. So, cool. Well, let's get into it. We're gonna start talking about the matches here. 3-4-3 combination coming up, as you guys know. So let's take a peep. Our first 3 matches on Friday. It's actually a pretty good set. Vancouver FaZe, Carolina Toronto, and then the nightcap is Vegas C9. Let's start off with Vancouver ATL. Vancouver coming off another runners-up, as we alluded to, not a great showing in that final, although they were great in the winners final. Kind of battled hard there, and then FaZe hardpoint woes continued at LAN, and they got top 6. I guess we'll start with the FaZe element of it. I want to start with you, Cap, because you know these guys pretty well. You know Chris pretty well. ATL's always been a team that's rebounded. Hardpoint was a little bit poor this stage. All the control on S&D was good. You confident these guys are probably going to rebound this stage and get back to form?
Yes, but I think I'll take Vancouver in this matchup.
Whoa,
Agree.
whoa.
Agree.
Is that crazy?
Agree.
No, I don't know if it's crazy. I just am surprised.
I feel like, I mean, I gave FaZe the benefit of the doubt going to the LAN. They disappointed me there. Hardpoint still looked pretty bad. And I don't understand. I don't know if we've talked about this on the show or if I've just talked about it in other conversations, but I don't understand how a team as good as FaZe, 4 players that could go through these slumps where they struggle in hardpoint. It feels like it happens like once a year,
It does.
maybe more than that, where their hardpoint just falls off a cliff. And I don't know. It's shocking. I do think they'll get it back, but I think Vancouver is in incredible form right now. I think they're obviously a legitimate team, back-to-back second places. I think they're great. I like watching them play. They got a great system. They got a lot of talent. So they're fun.
Yeah, Sam and Chelly, what do you guys think about FaZe in the hardpoint situation?
You want to go ahead, Chelly?
I mean, I just think their map pool is just shrinking. And then, like, as you look at a team like Vancouver, like, when you're thinking about the maps they're going to square up on, Hacienda, Vault, even obviously FaZe, you don't want to play FaZe on Protocol, but some of these maps. Oh, yeah, true. Holy shit. FaZe just lost their best map. So that's something to note as well. So, I mean, yeah, this FaZe team is going to have to figure that out because Vancouver looks strong in pretty much every hard point, even Skyline. Shout out to them for figuring that out. I don't know what they thought. I know they were vetoing Skyline just because they were vetoing Skyline with Hixie, but then they added Nep. They're like, wait, we can play Skyline now, guys. Come on, let's play Skyline. And now they're gross on Skyline. So, yeah, I think that FaZe are going to have to either really, really practice Rewind Hardpoint and make that like a staple for them. But yeah, I think that this should be, and before I even think about anything else, this should be a FaZe bounce back. You were what were they, top 6?
Yeah.
Top 6 in the major. This is a textbook, and I'm surprised Cap didn't say this, a textbook FaZe bounce back. Doesn't matter the maps, doesn't matter what mode, doesn't matter anything. FaZe are bouncing back. They're winning this series. Give me FaZe in 4.
Ooh, I like that.
I think I pick a lot of FaZe bounce backs, just not against Vancouver.
Yeah.
Well,
If
maybe
the
in the
series
past.
wasn't Vancouver, I would pick FaZe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vancouver's kind of had their number. Like, you can kind of see why. Like, they're just a very ratty team. That's kind of, FaZe has always struggled, like, as good as they are in search. Like, these kind of creddy style teams give them a problem in that game mode. The more straight up teams, those teams, they can kind of usually skill diff and outgun S&D. But what are your thoughts, Sam?
I mean, yeah, the hardpoint thing, like Cap said, it tends to happen like once a season, but it was weird because online it was the Terrors, and then on LAN, I think Zach had a pretty poor event. So it wasn't necessarily like an individual thing. I think just the team as a whole doesn't do good. If I do identify like one thing in the mode that I think they need to work on is holds on rotation. They suck at giving away like bloods on rotation. And I think on Hasi, when we watch it, for a lot of people in chat or just that are in the watch parties, like it's a really easily identifiable problem on Hasi, but it extends to their entire hardpoint map pool as well as losing protocol. So they tend to give away a lot of bloods on rotation, and I just think that whether that's a product of like small talk or just like how their scrims are going in the situationals where they need to be without common kind of thing, maybe it gets mixed up, but I'm assuming that they'll fix it. They usually do. They're still an incredible hardpoint team. I think they're like maybe around the third best hardpoint team this season. So it's not like all doom and gloom. I think they just had a poor stage. But yeah, I also have Vancouver. For whatever reason, it seems to be a struggle matchup for them, even without their poor performance in the mode lately. I think Vancouver's just always given them trouble, especially with them coming off of a final. I'm going to go ahead and take Vancouver for sure. But I expect to bounce back at some point. I mean, they're not going to be bad for the rest of the year.
FaZe are statistically the second team currently in win percentage. Only these have won more hard points than them. I agree with you, Sam. I think the transition game is their biggest struggle in hard point. Because they seem to have an idea, especially on breaks. They don't always execute it and hold what they want to do. But those transition situations is where they get in trouble. They try to do some crazy shit and it doesn't work out, and they get stuck trying to kind of odd man sort of hold some of these tougher money hills. I think they can beat Vancouver if they I think the Neslo is going to be tough, but if they can actually like own the respawns, I think it's doable. Like Rewind could potentially be an angle they go in this series, just because I don't remember. Obviously, Vancouver haven't played it with their new team. FaZe played it once and they beat LA Thieves on it. So
yeah, and a banger because Dan didn't rotate to P2, and then MC Miracle 3-pieced them 5 months ago.
Yeah, that was 5 months ago. So
I don't know. I think FaZe will be fine. I think the Terrors will return to form. I think Simp had an uncharacteristic stage. I think Abe's hard point to your point, Ben, hasn't been great, but I mean, their search is still insane, which they were losing at the event, which is also a little bit worrying. It's not like hard point was their Achilles heel. They were losing the other modes too, but I mean, it's FaZe we're talking about. I expect them to have a good stage.
Hey Sam, don't draft Simp anymore on your fantasy team, bro.
Listen, bro, listen to me, Chelly. I'm drafting straight liners, brother. There is not a singular land player that is going to be on my fantasy team for the rest of stage 4. I'm drafting a straight liner squad.
The major counts too, right? The major's the playoffs.
But I haven't made a major yet, Cap. Dude, all of my teams are good on land, and I'm not making the majors, Cap.
You're picking for the wrong categories.
Bro, my team was fucking nasty, Simp, and Purge. Like, they're giving me nothing online.
You got nothing.
I had TJ and Dan at the end of the stage too, bro. Like,
you're actually cursed, Sam. It's like,
I'm drafting straight liners.
Straight liners. Speaking of nasty, Vancouver 0-8 in grand finals last 2 events. Have looked great, pretty much start to finish every split online, early in the event up until that point. Like, I'm gonna start with you, Sam, as a player. Like, what do you think they need to do to like get over this just hump in finals and actually like at least be competitive against these teams?
Well, they were competitive. They just didn't have any ice. I think Major 2, they kind of got slammed by FaZe. Major 3, the first 2 maps were extremely winnable.
Yeah.
And I think once they lost, it was kind of the same as the first major, because what was it? Winners finals that they had? They lost both hard points to FaZe, and then they won both hard points against FaZe, and then the grand finals FaZe beat them in both.
Yeah.
I think the first map of grand finals is massive, because like I mentioned for FaZe specifically, but for LAT was going to win the control basically guaranteed. And the hard point was super winnable. That Hasi, they didn't rotate at the end of the game to Rock Hill. They lost a 1v1 round 11 map 2, which kind of chalked it after that point, because again, you were auto down 3-0 at that point, because LAT's control is like the best ever. So I think they just didn't have any ice for this specific instance. Again, I said at the top of the show, but the fact that they've made 3 grand finals in a row as a team is kind of fucking insane for how we thought the league was going to pan out preseason. This team being as consistent as they have been is absolutely great to see. So I think it's just, they just got to get some ice, bro. These were winnable maps for them. So, I mean, just keep doing it. Eventually the ball will go through the net, but I can't really point to like one specific thing why they're losing these maps.
Yeah. Like little thing like that round 11 that Sam just referenced against LA Thieves. Like, I'm pretty sure Net blacked out.
He touched about it on stream. He was like, he thought he was going to get snaked by Ernie, so it like changed the way he was going to play it or something like that. He talked about the 1v1 on stream. I remember I saw a clip about it, but he kind of blacked out a little bit.
It looked like he didn't want to snake too hard, and then
that's what he was saying too.
He just like forgot to shoot his gun.
Cool. Well, FaZe have a difficult schedule. We'll get to who they're playing on Sunday, but I think I probably got Vancouver. Well, I don't know. This one's tough. First match back, rewind, not sure, but it should be a fun one. Let's talk about another interesting match that is going to be the last match on Friday, and that is Vegas Falcons versus Cloud9. So in this one, Vegas played OpTic in that grudge match in losers round one and did not play particularly good. In that, I think the control on S&D woes really hurt them to try them any avenue in that series. They have made, from what I understand, 0 changes going into this match. C9 have actually completely made 2 changes to their roster. Out goes Mac, out goes Attach, out goes Tupac, their S&D coach. And in comes Capsidal and Spart. So their lineup now is Capsidal, Spart, Kyle Kremp, and Sib Dante. I'm going to start with you, Chelly. What are your thoughts on the new look C9? You think they can A, win this match, and B, get a better performance this stage?
Do I think that they can win this match? Sure. I'll say that they can win this match. They can honeymoon stage this. The Attach goodbye message was cute. I don't know if he...
Like
if
a
it,
hostage video.
yeah, I was about to say...
I'm going to steal Benja's joke on that one, bro. It looked like a hostage video.
I don't know how necessary all that was, but, it was cute. Honestly, good to see that Dylan, it doesn't seem like he's going to be retiring. Based off that video, I feel like that would have been kind of the time to make the announcement almost. Would have made sense after you got dropped. But no, man, I'm really surprised that Merc didn't go here for whatever reason. I know you guys might have a little bit more intel than I do on this situation. So I'll just very briefly say I'm shocked if there was an offer on the table for Merc and he did decide to say no. That's also surprising because I think that this Cloud9's a great org, right? I don't think that any player coming from Challengers would say no, in my opinion, and is in the position to.
I think it's their champs outlook, though, Chelly.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going.
But, bro, if you're a Challengers player, are you really that concerned about getting on a team that's going to make champs, or are you concerned about getting on a team that can help your career grow? Like that, at the end of the day, that's the decision you have to make. If you're not joining this team because their champs outlook is chalked, then you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, who the hell am I?
Well, are you talking about Merc specifically?
I don't know. I mean, so any Challengers player that doesn't want to join a professional Call of Duty team because their champs is chalked, I think that's ridiculous.
Well, so I think you also need to add the color that, Capsule and Spart have had multiple stints in the league. They're kind of known quantities. Yeah, I think they are kind of friends with some of the guys on this team, and so from that aspect, it's a little bit easy.
Friendship cheese to friendship cheese? Fuck.
Charmin podcast, by the way.
What? Oh. My bad.
I'll go
Hey, Chaw.
All right, later, Chaw.
Hey, guys. Oh, are you actually kicking
Yeah,
me
we're
out,
actually...
you bunch
No,
of...
you can hang out.
Your
All right,
channel.
bro.
Hi, Doug.
Oh, my
Doug's in my
God.
chat.
Anyway, that aside, Merc is fairly green as far as getting a pro league spot, right? His first ever professional appearance was last weekend, and I do think, and that's where I want to go to you, Sam. Like, I do think being picky here, if you think that Merc maybe was in a position where he declined a potential C9 offer, or there's some back and forth there, like that makes sense to me over Cap and Spart or Crazy's rumored to go to this team, like. All the names are getting
I heard
tossed for
7 names to C9. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the intricacies of it or like what the politics looked like behind the scenes. So I'm not even going to speculate on it. But Merc staying on Toronto, I think is interesting because, again, I heard like rumors that like Toronto was involved in the process for changes and stuff. So again, I don't know anything, so I'm not going to comment on it. But for him to not be on a team, honestly, I think it's fucking egregious. I don't think that C9 is ideal for him. To Chelly's point, it could have been just to get into the league, but I think that the way that he played over the weekend, and the fact that some of these CDL teams just have comfortability with each other, I think is an awful excuse. Merc was better than probably 75% of the players in that venue this weekend with no practice and no scrims. And if that's a testament to the Toronto trio that he filled in for, absolutely. But it was not, kind of like Tommy said on the last episode of the flank that we did. It's not like he came in and just did what he needed to do and like soaked time and just like did whatever. Like he was proactive, great in the comms. He was soaking hill while top fragging, like great at search. He had a couple clutches. Like it's not like he came in and just like for beans and just they did whatever they needed to do. They got third. He stood out to me as a player. And there are probably 3-4 teams in this league. Off the top of my head, OpTic, Boston, C9, like maybe Ravens, you could argue, even though they just made a change. Like there's at least 3 teams in this league that should have been in the running for him. Again, if they were, and I don't know. But I'm just going off the fact that he's not starting. And that's insane to me. I think the kid's disgusting. Scrap was gassing him, and that guy doesn't gas anyone. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but the fact that he's not starting is awful.
I think I agree. The fact that he's not starting is awful. I don't understand though how, because I'm pretty sure he had to have at least turned down this C9 offer. That's like the big rumor that he turned it down. If something else happened there that I don't know about, then so be it. But I'm the biggest advocate that when you're an amateur player, you get a chance in the league, especially, yeah, maybe C9 doesn't get a chance, but it's a team with Kremp and Sib who have been really good this year. I don't know what roster you're looking for to get your first shot on, if not a team with those two guys. Like, I don't know what you expect. Yeah, is he good? Should he have standards for himself? Yeah, sure. But like, I believe that hype can die down pretty quickly if we were talking about this before we went live with the show, but like if he goes back to challengers, isn't playing that well, like that hype behind him, I feel like can die down. You guys disagreed kind of, but I don't know. I think you got to take an opportunity when you get it. I don't understand what happened there. It's shocking that he's not in the league after the event he had, though.
It could be self-inflicted, and we don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I don't. It's kind of hard to comment on it because we really don't know.
Yeah, and I wonder who, because when people are in these situations, they often talk to their friends, whoever that may be, for advice. So I want to know who he talked to about this and told him, if it did come down to him just saying no and sitting on the bench rather than taking a starting spot. I want to know who said that was the right idea, because I so strongly disagree. Maybe, like you said, maybe, or like someone in the chat said, maybe he's waiting on the OpTic offer, but I don't know. That might be a little too optimistic after one event. Like we have to slow the brakes. Like you got to get your opportunity to just take it and prove you're that guy.
From what I know, I'm talking to multiple people, close situation. He was in, or there were some conversations with him on the C9 front. I think C9 were talking to a lot of people. The terms that were discussed were not really what he expected, or
like contractually,
level. Or yeah, that is what I had heard, and so I don't think that really helped maybe the decision here. I think if they had maybe offered something a little bit more favorable to him, maybe he would have taken it purely on the comp. But I think if I take a guess, I think he's being patient. I think if my guess is that he thinks there's gonna be more teams making changes in the middle of the stage, that he can get into a better situation that's not, say, the C9 team, which is not making champs, potentially not going to be that good the rest of the year, and then people that you're teaming with are just going to dip, build a team in the offseason. They're going to be stuck holding the bag, team picks up your option, etc.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I was going to go with it. Is I think the timing of it's really difficult. Like an end season team is really hard. Just like it's what Ben said. You don't want to get fucked over when all these people leave that you joined. Like say he joins C9 and Kremp and Sib are gone, and then he's just sitting there with a +1. Like fuck, you know what I mean? So I mean, there's a lot that goes into it though. Like if you look at the C9 situation specifically, because that's what we're talking about. Like their schedule sucks for stage 4. Like I think they have like a pretty difficult one. They're not going to champs. There's a lot of work to do. Whereas if you join one of the teams or wait, which I think waiting could bite him in the ass, it could not. Obviously, none of us know, but I don't know, man. God, there should have been OpTic should have made a change. Like Boston should be making changes. There's so many teams, bro, that just.
I do agree with that. I don't know why those two teams are sticking. They're
just sitting there. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. The upcoming schedule for Cloud9 this stage, I think we probably all agree. Do you probably have them new team against Vegas? Probably they get it done.
I'll honeymoon it. Yeah. I mean, it's Vegas. I don't really care.
Anyone not have C9?
Yeah, I'll give it to C9. Nice 1-4 stage.
They have also Toronto on Sunday.
Why did he join? Fuck.
They have Toronto, then FaZe, Miami, and Thieves. So 1-4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I'm him looking at that, I'm like, like that could just as easily chalk his stock as not playing. Like they just come in, he gets body slammed, and then what?
I'm just in a situation that literally
he's rotting in challenge.
If he has no other offers though, like if C9 is his only offer, it's better to play than to not play.
I mean, you guys are acting like Dante and Kremp haven't been fucking shooting this entire game. Like, bro, that's a really good team to get picked up on. I mean, there's got to be something we don't know. There's no way that he looked at that team and said, "No, I don't want to play for C9." There's no.
I'm
way.
Team Chelly here, but at the same time, like Sam said, the fact that Boston and OpTic did not hit this man up, maybe
Or
even Carolina,
Falcons. Falcons too.
Yeah, no.
well, they're super not going to chance.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's the same outlook that we would have, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
It's definitely.
They also just made a change, you know. So I get why they maybe wouldn't, but Boston OpTic, like we're just staying put. We're just running it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna get to them in a bit, but I don't know what's going on there. Same with the situation here. We'll move on to the last series on Friday. Carolina and Toronto. Obviously, Toronto gonna run it back with their normal team back to back. Quality patience placing for the squad. They're solidly top 4. Carolina have just been slowly sliding over the course of the season. They got dead last weekend. Are you guys surprised? Chelly, we'll start with you, that Carolina didn't make a change. You think, just made it right before the event, double
man.
Thieves.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Thieves cheese was definitely not in their favor for the roster move timing, because Rex's first 2 series, he played LA Thieves, and then he played them on land. So, really tough draw for him. And then, yeah, I don't know what's going on with this Carolina team, dude. I don't know if dropping Vivid was the move. I'm going to come back to this. I don't think that bringing Rex in for Vivid is going to change anything. And I know it's early, and I know it, like you said, I was just saying that the double Thieves cheese is real, but I just don't see Rex coming in and making more of an impact than Reese was already making. I think they dropped Reese for principle of the fact that the vibes were chalked and that there was just the elephant in the room that they didn't want to address, that they couldn't get Kenny, because that was serious. That was definitely a serious accusation. But yeah, man, I don't know. This team, I think at this point, they're just going to keep sliding and sliding. And at what point do we just say there might need to be a double roster move on this team to switch it up? Because right now, this team's vibes, you look in their player cams, it's not right, bro.
Who do you drop that?
That's the issue. I don't know, because you could argue that 3 of these guys are undroppable. The Gwyn, Slasher, TJ trio are undroppable. Yeah. Gwyn's undroppable. I think we've decided. We've talked about this. A guy who's dropping a 1.2 online is undroppable. But outside of that, like, you can't drop the ice, man, and you can't drop your in-game leader and you play for Picks Goat. So
they've been playing like Teej and Austin haven't been playing great, but they've been playing good enough where it's like they don't really deserve to get dropped. Gwyn's undroppable. So now it's just he's have a 4th spot. It could just be your revolving door. You just keep trying a new 4th until one works.
It's just the worst phase situation.
It's just so strange.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, dude. I think they're just not good. I don't know. I was high on them preseason. I preached propaganda on that team until stage 2, but I reached a point in this season where I just think that team isn't good. Like Austin's last 6 series, I'm pretty sure, are like actually awful. Gwyn actually had a decent event, surprisingly, but it didn't matter because they got Thieves. I mean, Dylan Rex played worse against Rocker and Losers 1 than he did against Thieves and Winners 1. So I don't know, man. I expected more from Dylan. Granted, again, 2 of the 3 series being against Thieves, but Rocker, he got slammed too. So, I mean, Tej literally threw up 10 and 33 game 4.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
And he finished better than Dylan did in overall. So I don't know what that says about that situation, but I think that they're just not a good team right now relative to everybody else. And I think, I mean, if we can call it a peak early season, we can call it a peak. But I think that.
So what's your solution? What's your solution to helping them right now?
Get better at fucking control, to be honest. But go ahead,
the control thing is big, but I don't think that they have one, Chelly, to be honest with you. I don't think this team's going to make any changes, and they're just going to go to these last 2 events and just see what happens.
But if you're a GM of Royal Ravens, right? Like, what are you suggesting that can save their season? Because right now, this is just the downward spiral. So,
I mean, the only thing left is the Dylan angle, because I think that, I mean, Austin hasn't been playing well, but I don't think he's like droppable playing bad. Gwyn just had his decent event, not horrible, and I think Tej has been relatively good, but I think the whole team has just taken a dip in terms of performance So truthfully, I really don't know what the solution is. I'm not bullshitting. I don't know, because the team isn't horrible, but they haven't been able to get over the hump the whole season. And I don't think that there's like some miracle challengers player out there. You could just keep taking chances until something gets better for sure, but there's not some like miracle challengers player out there that's going to make them a top 3 team or be able to get over the hump that they haven't been able to all season. So I think that, again, they just keep it together and go to these last couple events and just see what happens, because I mean, I just don't think that they're good at this game.
Damn.
Yeah, I agree, Sam. I think teams have caught up to them in Hardpoint and in Search, and the control was abysmal this stage. They only won 1 of the 7 they played the entire stage. I think even when they were kind of starting to trend downward stage 2, they were still finding a way to win, but they got to clean up some of the edges of this map pool and game mode stuff. I don't think they're going to get to a consistent top 4 level, because I think teams like Miami might have more firepower than them, Toronto, but can they, get to like where Boston's at, where they're the 6th best team? I think it's still within realm. It's just, I don't know. And this match, I don't think, does anyone have Carolina over Toronto? I'm going to assume everybody's
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Wow. Carolina's match is the rest of the stage, if you guys are curious. It's an interesting set. There's some challenges in here. Toronto, Boston, we'll talk about that in a bit, but they got OpTic, Minnesota, and Miami as well. So, I mean, maybe you can sneak in a winner's bracket, but we shall
At what
see.
cost?
At what cost, exactly, Sam? All
What
right.
do you guys think of Dylan?
Rex?
Or Rex, not Merx. Rex.
I don't know what to think about Dylan. I want to see probably this weekend and get a better sense when they're playing opposition at their level. Like,
They played Rocker and he got shit on land.
I mean, yeah, he had a terrible start.
That's
2
what
Thieves matches, and then, but like, are you going to drop him right away? Because
no, that's what I'm saying.
Off
Like
3
that's a
matches?
really hard decision to make. But we've been talking about this kid for fucking years in chat. He never got his opportunity. Fucking all this. Why is he turning down offers? This, and this. He gets on a team and he hasn't even come close to going positive yet.
this is a big weekend for him.
I don't know,
it's-
dude.
he's got
Maybe
starters
he
front
is
foot.
good and he just got like a shitty schedule draw. I don't know.
He's just got to start a strong foot this week. Get 1 good series under your belt. Get that pressure off of you. Feel like you guys are executing those tactics and go from there. The
It
double,
just, I don't know. It feels weird. A lot of these challengers players right now, because a lot of the ones who are coming into the league hyped up, like Merck was just a last second fill in. I don't know if you guys had any expectations for him, but it was just like, all right, whatever happens. He fries.
Because of the kid, because of Haggy. He's the only reason I even knew who he was.
But then you have these kids like Lunars and Dylan Rex, who I feel like I don't know. I'm not that tuned in with challengers. I'm not going to sit here and lie. But from my point of view, it feels like they've been hyped up for quite some time now. Like you're saying, it's like Dylan Rex, well, why isn't he getting a shot? He's so good. He deserves a shot. He's going to fry. Same with Lunars. Lunars was like the best player in challengers from what I've heard. And then they're in the league and just doing nothing so far. Granted, Dylan Rex has been 3 series, but still, like it feels like it's so hard to figure out who's going to work right now coming into the league.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
went
I
into like a favorable spot too. It's not
I
even
was
like he's
gonna say,
losers
yeah.
going to LAG. He went to Ravens. They're
Yeah.
4th, 5th in the standing. You're teaming with great players. Like he went into the ideal situation for a pickup, and he's still getting slammed.
Ravens they just feel like the Steelers to me right now. Just like
Steelers
just
is crazy.
middle of the pack. They have no hope to be better than that right now. They're not going to be the worst team in the league.
A winning season for what?
They're not either. Like
Making
They're
winners
not-
bracket
yeah.
for what?
like the Royal Ravens or the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not going to get a top 3, top 4. They're just maybe 5th, 6th, but they're not going to get last. So all right.
They got last.
Oh wait, did they? Oh, they
No,
did.
they got
Well,
last
I'm
weekend.
okay. I'm in. Like
I think Tej might need to start scrimming with his shirt off, bro. I think
No
that's
way.
like the only way. I think that's the only way at this point, bro. I've seen the vibes over there, bro. They need something. They need anything.
I heard.
Cool. Well, let's move on to the Saturday matches. We have a good set of 4 here. I think we're going to start with the OpTic Vancouver one, but I'll go through all of them right now. We got Minnesota, Vegas to start the day, Carolina, Boston, Vancouver, OpTic, and then Thieves, Miami. But I want to start with this one. It's the one people want us to talk about. Talked about Vancouver a bit ago, but OpTic got top 8 again, 3rd event in a row. And the reflection after that stage was to not make a change. Under fire player in OpTic Texas, Skies. I'm going to pull up his stats from the 2 lands he's played with them now and subsequently the full online stage. So you see those on your screen, and they are near the bottom as far as most categories and most players. So individually, Caesar really kind of getting carried by this team. I'm going to start with you, Cap. Do you think OpTic should have made a change? Or do you think they should try and keep it going with Caesar and just sort of figure it out?
No, just keep going, guys. It's going great. Phone's bound to click. You know what the definition of insanity is? Just keep running it back. Eventually it'll work, guys. It's fucking lunacy that they have not fucking made a change. This is not working. I don't understand how a team with Shotzzy and Dashi is this bad for this
They don't know how
long.
to play the game.
They're 5-39 map count against top 8 teams since Major 1. That was a stat we
It's
talked about
crazy.
before briefly. That is ridiculous. 5-39 map count against the champs teams.
They haven't beat anybody in a champ spot since January, correct?
Yeah, I don't understand.
0-13.
Cap, why do you think? Put yourself in their shoes. Why do you think they're not making the change? Like when someone like Merck or even the Challengers players are sitting there.
I cannot tell you. Because if I was
I
in
think they
control of
chalked
that
it.
camp, I would have probably tried a whole new formula. Whether it's deserved or not, I probably would have tried a whole new formula with Jess and Brandon. Probably no Kyler. Because they keep trying to bring Hugh in as like this emergency fix, and it's not really working at all. I probably would have swapped out Skies and Hugh, tried to find 2 new guys. Because the way I look at COD, the way I've looked at COD my whole life is that if you have players as talented as Ant and Brandon, you can't be that bad. You really can't. Unless you're just really, really brain dead.
They're really, really brain dead.
So unfortunately, I think they're really, really brain dead. I think that now shows in their roster.
They don't know how to
decision-making.
play this game.
Go ahead, Sam. Expand.
No, it's just like fundamentally Black Ops 6 as a whole. Like every year we play a new game and you have to adjust to the style of the game and the maps. But I think they really just don't know how to play this game. I think early season, like online, they were kind of doing what OpTic teams typically do, which is they were really talented and they were just winning based on that. And I think once this season expands a little bit and teams start to get the flow of the maps, I think that they just didn't learn how to play the game together. And I think that was probably a product of the whole Kenny situation. Ken probably went about it one way. The others went about it a different way. Plus the AG roster change. I think that they're the way that they just play the game and understand Black Ops 6 fundamentally is just so far behind the rest of the league that playing catch up at this point is damn near chalked, which is why I think that they just phoned it in. If I'm being completely honest with you, there's no justification to keep their team other than just like,
That's
fuck it.
crazy though. 'Cause
But
they're
when you
going to
vo-
champs.
I understand that, but like,
Well, they might not
what,
go to champs just yet.
potentially not.
Well, if they
But-
choke this, then that's bad. But they should
But, like,
think they're going to champs
Sam,
right now.
like
They
if
should
you
be.
if you don't fundamentally
be.
understand the game, what we've seen players do a bunch is then you bring people in, either playing well in challengers or in bottom teams, and they bring in new ideas and new concepts, and you catch up quickly because those people understand it. Like, why wouldn't you go down that route? If
That's what I'm saying. The only logical conclusion to me in my head is that they fucking chalked it. And they're just going to like ride it out for the rest of the season and then address their issues in the postseason. But you still have 3 more tournaments and you've gotten top 8, 3 tournaments in a row. There's no logical conclusion on this earth for them to keep their team together. So again, that's just where my head goes. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
Oh, Chelly, can you? I have one reason, one maybe legit reason, but I don't even know. But
I
wanna
would love to
see-
hear it because I can't think of one.
I want to see what Chelly thinks first.
No,
and then I'll go.
okay. My theory is that remember before Caesar joined OpTic, he's like, "Oh, I've been running flex more. I've been trying to, get back to my old self, move quicker on the map." I think that was what he thought his role was going to be when he joined this roster. Then Caesar joined this roster, and I think that the guys sat him down and they said, "Look, Caesar, we need you to fill. We need you to hop on hill. We need you to do the dirty work that we don't want to do because Hook's not doing it, Shotzy's not doing it, and Bruce ain't doing it." And I think that happened, and Caesar just has come in and tried to do everything that nobody else wants to do, and it's the Kenny role part 2. And it's really annoying because I think that Caesar is getting put into a shitty ass situation, bro. Because I think he's a lot
Real
better than
deja vu right now.
Bro, I think they looked at how he was playing the last game, and they're like, "Yo, Caesar, like you were hill kitten last game, low engagements. We need that type of player." And when they brought you in, and I don't know, it's annoying me.
So
It's
you're,
annoying.
so you're
Me.
saying like to give an
Go ahead,
example
man.
of what you're saying, like so you're saying like I've noticed, for example, that like oftentimes Caesar is their top bar player in Vault. Like they're putting him in the like non-primo spots. He's trying to do his best to just play third fiddle, and it's giving him weird times, and he can't kind of play his game, and he's struggling to adapt. But then that doesn't explain then why you wouldn't make a change because it's clearly not working. Like he can't excel in that.
I'm not arguing the change. I'm just arguing the fact that I wanted to see Caesar running a sub more and using his left stick more, moving more on the map, and I just haven't seen that yet.
Caesar spit some good property when he said he's going to play faster. That guy's never really been a fast player.
Not the
Used
last
to.
couple of years for sure. He's not been a fast player. I agree.
When
with
was the
that.
last time he
I don't
was
know
like,
about fast. There's a difference between fast and high engagement, right?
yeah.
Okay, because like throughout MW3 until the last like 2 events, he was like one of their better players, if not their best player. If you guys were watching last year, there was this at the very end of the season, Ben. I know you vouched for it. They going into champs and Major 4. I mean, Caesar's literally told me this firsthand. Like he just chalked everything and just defaulted Hill and allowed that's when Dante started kicking up, and Paco, he was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do all the shit that none of you guys want to do, because he was high engagement, playing very well throughout the start of MW3 to the middle part of it. And once Paco and Dante kicked up at champs and EWC, that's when he made that crazy role swap and like playstyle adjustment, and I think he's still doing that. I think he's Priesta.
I think he just chalked himself by being a glue guy, but he
I think
isn't good at playing the
I
role.
think he's on the Mac Priesta career arc, where he chalked his individual play to be the glue guy, dirty work, which I fucking hate, by the way. Could we talk about that? I hate that. The dirty work glue guy. And
I was going to
think
say something about that.
I think it bit him in the ass, because I think he's now mentally in that, which is where Preston is, which is where Mac is.
If that is, I want to know what OpTic's conversations are like about like how they play the game, because if they are like expecting someone, Caesar, Kenny before that, or whoever, to just like be a quote unquote hill player, that's just brain dead. You don't beat top teams like with a designated hill player. Like that's not, you don't play consistent top tier COD that way.
New York was kind of doing it last year.
Well, I think what Cap
Last year was the hold on, just to answer your real quick. Last year I think was the exception, because the majority of last year's hardpoint hills were power spots.
No, yeah, it goes back to your point of they don't know how to play the game.
I think what you're saying, Cap, is like there are times where players, it's more so like you want to have systems where players should try and be in the hill more, and when those push out situations, so kill, but not be Hilkin, what you're saying.
Some players are going to inevitably, because their play style, because their gun, having a trophy system, whatever, they're inevitably going to get more hill time than the other players on the team. But like, that's not like just the players rolling the team like, oh, he's got to be in the hill so everyone else can go slay around him. Like, the game moves so quick, you have to make decisions like within a split second all the time, that you have to be able to just react and just fill the open lane and just keep shit moving. And I mean, they don't look like they understand that at all right now. And
We're in this game. It goes back to what I said. I mean,
yeah.
I've watched every match of theirs. I've watched them make the game more difficult on themselves every single time. All of their losses, all of their individual plays. It's not just Ant, it's not just Brandon. It's literally all of them. They just don't do the easy shit to make the game more simple. They add steps to every single routine play, and they add situations where they now have to overcome or overcorrect for just situations that should be very black and white. And it's bit them in the ass all season because they have no teamwork.
And I think the reason that they're not making this Merc change, I'm convinced is the only reason, outside of some weird contractual thing with Merc, is that they're so gun shy now because of all of these changes. They are finding reasons not to pick up players because they think
chalked it.
Yeah, they think it's basically going to be the same situation over. They'd rather just play with Caesar, which I think
that's actually insane.
The problem with that thinking now is they've now created another problem, because I think the fan. And you guys are bringing up this Brian Stats tweet. Like, I think this is a little bit misleading because I'll read it out to you. Brian Stats tweet is people don't seem happy about this decision. I personally don't think going in the fourth tournament of the year, feeling a fourth in the roster is the best decision. The last time OpTic placed T8 3 events in a row was Ghost. They also fielded 3 different rosters. They stuck it out with the same roster going to event number 4 and placed third. You know who was on that fucking team? They weren't picking up challengers players when they made that roster. So I don't really like this situation because the caliber of player they were picking up to fix their situation in Ghost, inevitably win an event, is players who were like fucking phenomenal at the title before. So I don't really like this way of thinking, you know? It's not the same situation. I think they're gun shy, and I think they've created a situation now where every loss that they're going to have this stage, the fan base is going to be on their ass about dropping Caesar.
Yep.
And the pressure is never going to be relieved until they win an event or it actually happens. They've put themselves in the ultimate hot seat bind, and the only way out is either first or making a change.
Agree.
So anyway, none of us have OpTic beating Vancouver, I assume.
I don't have OpTic winning against fucking anybody.
Damn, nobody.
I mean, barring like Falcons, LAG, I'm picking every other team in the league to beat them. Respectfully. But disrespectfully.
Good respectfully.
Maybe they're
Changes
Skyline,
everything.
or sorry, maybe they're Rewind merchants. We don't know yet.
Maybe, bro.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, let's move on to the first match on that day. And this will be interesting because I think there's a winnable match for Minnesota Rocker versus Vegas. They win this, OpTic lose. They get a little bit closer to OpTic in the standings. I'm going to start with you, Chelly. Do you have Vegas in this one, or do you have the Rocker in what I assume is a must-win every match for them?
Yeah, I have Rocker. I just don't see a world where, I mean, listen, it was cute. They these ARs on Falcons kick up every now and again. But with there being pressure, I don't know who is saying drop Nero. There's been a lot of talk about dropping Nero. I don't know if
it was
Benjay.
Benjay Nissim, the guy right above
Was
you.
it Benjay Nissim?
It was
started
Benjay
to drop
Nissim,
near.
the guy right above you.
Got it. You guys say I have brain dead takes. Benjay, what the fuck?
Benjay's out on Nero.
I'll say this. Nero, the limited opportunities they had on LAN, he actually played really good. Like, that was the level of Nero they need more consistent because he was a problem in S&D and a problem in hardpoint. His control has never been that good, to be honest. But, like, if he can be good in 2 of the 3 game modes, they're always going to have a chance. So if he plays like that, I think it's good. I think any other sub players out there that can be picked up, it's kind of difficult. You're not going to drop Gio or Estriel. You're going to keep Ken. I think it's for Rocker. They just got to, at this point, they just got to convert. You got to go in these series and you got to win. You have all the talent in the world. OpTic's not playing well. You should be playing better than them. Make this miracle run. I don't know if you're going to pull a fucking New York subliners and get, runners up at the last event to get in the champs, but the crowd will be behind them at Major 4 to try and make things spicy.
Dude, the thing is, it's the only real running we have is Rocker versus OpTic. That's really the only standing shakeup that we can have for the champs qualification. They play the same teams. It's not that like one of them doesn't have an easy road or a hard road. They play the exact same teams, except OpTic plays LAG and Minnesota plays Falcons. Other than that, exact same schedule. OpTic does have a 30-point lead, but I don't know, bro. Like, again, I'm higher on Rocker, maybe just because I want some crazy shit to happen in Major 4. But I mean, if we go top to bottom, LAT, FaZe, Vancouver, Toronto, Boston, I'm picking all these teams to beat OpTic. Both of them don't play Thieves or FaZe though, which is good for them.
Yeah.
They all play like fucking Ravens and LAG and Boston and shit, but
I need to see Rocker win this.
I'm picking every team to beat them.
I need to see Rocker win this in not 5 games against Vegas. They need to show me that they can do it in 3 or 4 maps. Because if this goes to a map 5, I'm genuinely concerned that they're not going to be able to win a series unless it's a map 5. And that is a huge problem for a team that's trying to make a champs push.
Huge problem for a team who chokes a lot of map 5s also.
That as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, yeah.
Well, they beat
be
Carolina
tied.
in 4 at the event.
If they close their 5s, I mean, sure, obviously pure hindsight, but if they close their game 5s last stage, they'd be tied right now. It's kind of crazy.
Exactly. And it's not like Vegas is the world's best S&D team either. I mean,
you just veto Skyline Hardpoint and they'll lose the series, so it's fine.
Yeah. So I think for Minnesota, listen, just pile on as much pressure on OpTic as possible. You got to take care of your own business. They're not trying in a positive direction. Like, you start to make that gap tighter. Like, you never know. So does everybody have Rocker over Vegas in this one?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Heard. We got 2 more left. Let's do Thieves in Miami, the last match on Saturday. Thieves obviously coming off a victory. Miami with Super, a really good stage out of them. They've kind of catapulted themselves into kind of that top 4, top 6 conversation. Start with you, Sam. You think there's any Miami upset potential here?
We're online, Benja.
Yeah.
We're online, baby. Thieves 3-1, 3-0.
Just these onliners, bro.
Thieves online, bro. They're undeniable.
They are. Their
lost
online
one
record
series in their last like 16.
I'll tell you their online record this season. Their online
They're
record is
undeniable.
19-4.
They're undeniable, brother. I got Thieves.
They same amount of losses online as they do online.
I will say, even though I do have Thieves, I fucking love this Miami team. And this might be the nail in the coffin for them because technically, most of the time when I gas teams, they turn to shit. But I fucking love this Miami team, dude. I was super high on them going into the major, and to see them make another Sunday was great. But I think that team is good as fuck, quite frankly. I think Meadows found a level of consistency that he needed to really have them as like a mainstay in the top end of the league. He's been great their last like 5 or so, I would say. But yeah, man, I'm pretty high on Miami. I think that team is really fun to watch. I think that they have 2 Rookie of the Year candidates on their roster, which is super exciting. I think Rancor is still my most underrated player in the league, although now he probably isn't underrated anymore. Super's been incredible since he joined. So I don't know, dude. I'm really high on Miami, and I hope they keep it up. I'm a fan of their team.
We'll talk end of season awards on the next episode. But Chelly, what are your thoughts?
Thank God Super's good, because I'm really sick of having the conversation that should this team be roster locked or not. Or sorry, region locked. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, because we were always saying like Real Rancor just need 2 guys to step in. You know, it's just like, thank God Super came in and we can stop having that conversation for at least a little bit, because it is good to see this Miami team have success. I think the guys are really likable on the team, and they're a young team, and yeah, we have 2 potential Rookie of the Years on the same team. So that's pretty cool too.
Cap, you got these in this one?
Absolutely. I like the Miami team also, but Thieves is a fucking juggernaut.
I think if you're Miami, you got to take map 1 in this one. You take map 1, you can be a tough out in S&D. Even then, I kind of like these potentially reverse sweep, but you gotta not like map 3 is like, even though Miami's been decent at control, it's an auto L.
Bone in the map 3s against Thieves, bro.
So you gotta take the first couple. I don't think they get it done. I think Thieves probably win 3-1, maybe draw map 2. Who knows? But I think Thieves will be riding off the high. We got one more match on Saturday. Carolina versus Boston. Don't want to spend probably too much time on this one. We'll probably just give like score predictions. Start with you, Cap.
3-1 Boston.
Agree.
Tell you agree?
I think
Yeah,
Boston's
3-1,
a little
3-1.
better, but this is a very unexciting series.
Boston controls looked a lot better, right? I'm
They're
pretty
like
sure.
7-1 or something crazy.
Yeah, they've been like slamming control.
7-1 in stage 3. So I think with Carolina's struggles in control, Boston being good in that game mode, I think Boston are the 6th best team in the league. Not the worst spot to be in. It's not the best spot to be in. I think this
Top 6 is the worst, brother.
But I think you can argue that on their talent level, they're probably overperforming.
Yeah,
where they're at.
Can we look at Ravens' schedule this split? I'm just curious because it seems like they have some games that, like Major 1, Major 2 split, we would have had them winning no problem. But now we're sitting here just being like, oh, well, it's actually not the hardest split.
I mean, these are all Boston, obviously not like top 6. OpTic, struggling to be any champs teams. Rocker. Miami, I mean, Miami and Toronto, I think, are L's. The other 3, I guess, are theoretically wins. But even when they were good, Carolina was very day-to-day. I don't know. We'll see.
They just can't close early in these series, bro. Their control, like, Ben, again, your take is aging like fucking fine wine, brother. They're being bad at map 3 it's so devastating. Because, I mean, if you let any of these teams stick around in these series, they're always going to be potential to lose them. But I just have no faith in them 3-0ing anybody.
They need just a strong get off and upset Toronto, go 2-0 this weekend, beat OpTic and auto qualify for winners early, and just completely change the vibes in that camp, because I think they probably feel like they're just stuck in the mud, and that's the type of team, unfortunately, I don't think is getting out of the valley when they get there. That's kind of my thought process on Carolina right now. All right, we have 3 more matches to talk about. Some of these are exciting, and some of these, well, we're gonna start with the ones that are like, well, and we'll kind of swing through this. LAG, Miami, LAG dead last. One hard point, one S&D, one control last split.
Fucking hell.
I mean, dude, is there any life for these LAG guys? Or are they basically 1 foot in Cabo, Mexico at this point?
Nope. I hope Gotaga isn't discouraged about the CDL, but he has gotten
No
unbelievably unlucky this season with his rosters and the changes that he's made. I mean, I like the proactivity of him. At least he's been willing to make the changes, but I mean, he just they got to abolish or abandon the org, bro. The LAG org is just just cursed. It's cursed in the CDL. You got to get rid of it.
No, they need Pat to pay them back the money that he owes them.
He put like a generational curse on him from the that the Slayer curse.
The fuck out of them. All right, does everybody have Miami 3-0?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Maybe 3-1.
3-1, yeah.
3-1. All right, fair. Let's talk FaZe Thieves. Ooh, this is kind of a banger. Haven't seen this one in a while since the Major 1 finals. Is it a potential? Obviously, if FaZe lose to Vancouver, they could go 0-2 this week. The last time these guys played online, it went to Game 5. For what it's worth. The last time they played on LAN, went to Game 7, and then the time before that went to Game 5. So, I mean, in an S&D, who do you guys think ices up? Do you think FaZe ice up, or do you think Thieves has improved search since then? Gets it done.
I mean, their search has been fucking crazy.
I think Thieves wins 3-1.
You think Thieves 3-1 cap? What do you think, Sam?
Yep.
What do you got, Chelly?
Depends. Did FaZe just lose to Vancouver, or are FaZe coming off a win against Vancouver? Because I think
What'd
that
you pick?
I would take FaZe if they're coming off a loss to Vancouver, because if they drop 2 games in a row, I'd be.
Well, you said a 3-1 FaZe bounce back, so they're
I
fucked
did.
against
I
Thieves.
did. I'm just saying, in a world where they lost to Vancouver. But yeah, no, I'll take.
You think FaZe is going 1-1 this weekend, no matter
Yes,
what?
yes, correct. FaZe are 1-1 this weekend.
I think FaZe is 0-2. I don't know. This is tough 2 matches to come back to.
Oh man.
Yeah, but the rest of their draw, Sam, is Cloud9,
I guess
LAG,
it
Vegas.
doesn't really matter. I mean, maybe for like seeding, it might get weird. But
I mean, I think they lose these 2. They're gonna womp these next 3 teams.
I don't know how you can just say that FaZe are just gonna lose these 2. Like, it's Atlanta FaZe.
Who just played in the finals.
I mean, yes,
They're really good.
and they're
Vegas
currently valleying in hardpoint.
because
they just got top 6.
their hard point's not that good.
Yes.
Vancouver's a bogus.
Vancouver and Thieves got first and second.
Yeah,
I know, but you guys don't. FaZe, we were doing this at the beginning of the season too. Like, FaZe will always bounce back. They're
They had a
inevitable.
month break. and
They're
so
inevitable.
became God.
Were they bouncing back in our predictions against Surge and Thieves, or was it against like Boston and Miami and like what? I don't remember these conversations. I remember vaguely. I don't remember the caliber of opponent here. Like, it's very different, right?
I mean, their also slump at the beginning of the season was like Thieves and like these very difficult teams. And I think they lost to like maybe OpTic or something.
3-0 by Carolina. That really helped.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll say this. I think winning. If you're FaZe, you got to win the control against Vancouver. They do that. I think they can find a way to win. And it's probably the same thing for the Thieves series, because I think the searches will be a really good square up. I think these are 2 elite S&D teams. Thieves have kind of gotten there. But I don't know. Maybe this is a generational Zach against Thieves type series. We haven't really, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a done.
The Terrors are
But
good.
if they lose these 2, they're not losing to C9 LAG in Vegas. They're going 3-2. So
Yeah.
I would say,
That's a bounce back. If
I
they go
have them-
2, those 3 games might be ugly. They might be slaughters.
for the narrative, I have them losing to Vancouver and being Thieves, because then we just are like, whatever. I'll make the spice really good for
I got
the
LAT
show.
3-1. It's online. I'm gonna say it every time I predict them, bro. They're
right.
literally the final boss, unkillable online.
It's gonna be cool to see them play Rewind. I wonder if they're still good at it. That's like my
I hope so. That'd be
big
cool.
question mark for this weekend.
Yeah, Rewind should be an interesting score up likely between the 2 teams. Last time they played, Sam alluded to earlier, Dangosi didn't rotate. MC Celium got about 17 kills on a P2, and they ended up actually coming back and winning it. And I think it was the 4th map in that series, right? I went to a game 5 and I lost.
Yeah.
All right, last match: New Look C9 versus Toronto Ultra. Toronto kind of kings of like dropping these Sunday matches for what it's worth. But even look at the talent of the C9 team. Like, I think Capsule can definitely still have his takeover potential at times against pro teams. I don't know about Spart though. especially against a Toronto squad. And I think that they're gonna play like some. I don't know what to think of the C9 team. I got
When's
Toronto.
the last time we saw
I got
Spark?
Toronto 3-0.
These C9 moves don't really excite me
No, they don't.
because we've
Me neither.
seen Cap and Spart in the league multiple times,
When
each
was-
of them, I
when was
believe.
Spart's last cameo. I don't remember. Anyone know?
I don't remember.
He didn't. I don't think he
Didn't he
played.
sub in for like one game?
I don't remember.
I kind of remember he subbed in like one game.
Last
Yeah,
year?
It was last year for Rucker.
Someone got like sick or
Last year
something.
for
I forget what
Rocker.
happened.
Was it? Was it just like a temporary thing?
What was
Oh,
the time
I
he
don't remember.
actually played though, besides just to fill
The
it?
chat was saying MW2. I just
He
don't
subbed
remember.
in for LAG last year. People were saying.
Okay.
At some point.
Either way, these guys don't excite me. Respectfully, they're solid COD players, but it might be an upgrade for the C9 team. But I still feel like even if it is a slight upgrade, we're talking like top 6 major 4. I don't think they're going to be a real threat to like make champs because of this roster or like have a
No.
great major 4.
I mean, bro, their stage is diabolic. We talked
Yeah.
about it earlier. So
I'll be honest, the X factor in this is Cap's little. If Cap comes in and he's just like a walking piece every life, I actually think that they'll just bully some teams. But like if he's comes in, he's kind of super inconsistent, and Crep is always a super inconsistent player, then I think they're just, to your point, maybe they're top 6, but more likely they're one and done in this bracket.
Crab's been pretty consistent this year, in my opinion.
he has been.
Not the last stage though. Last stage, here I'll publish.
They
stats.
were in blow it up, fucking change my team, please
Yeah.
territory.
Last stage was really poor from him across the board. Before that, yeah, I thought Crump was having a good season. The last stage, he really
Oh, he got. Well, their major was their major one match.
It was one match, so they can ignore that. But online really struggled in control. The rest of the modes, S&D was everything. I was slamming the mortars.
0.47?
That was one match,
man.
one match, brother.
Oh, why am I?
Not great.
Yeah, one match, but no, they need everybody on the team to play good. Kremp has that. We know Cap. We've seen in past years that Cap can be that guy. I think Cap's reasons for why he's got dropped off of past teams are really not gameplay reasons.
I'm actually high on Cap. I don't know if that's unpopular or not. I'm excited for him.
He's talented. Again,
I like Cap a lot.
Dude, when he filled for us, Cap, in MW2, I was actually like a big fan of his. I thought he came with the right attitude. He seemed like,
I like his attitude. He's a good kid. He was super confident, which I liked.
yeah, he was like shot calling and shit. I fucked with it.
Same, but I feel he's just been so inconsistent when I've seen him in the league. That's why
Well,
I'm rooting for him.
Shit shake on that Boston team last year. He wasn't great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that he didn't deserve to be dropped. But like, I just think that situation fucking sucked.
It was not a good. It was not a good situation. I'll repeat what I said. I think when he's gotten dropped from a couple of these teams, it's been for out of game reasons, not necessarily in server reasons. There's no like his ability to shoot back, make plays, especially in S&D, are all there. He's just got to. Again, he's a young kid. He's just got to. If he works on teammate aspects, the day-to-day aspect, like he's going to be. He will actually take advantage of this chance and maybe, be a mainstay on one of these rosters going into next year.
I'm high on him. I hope that he plays well in the season.
Do you guys think that since Merc looks like he's staying on the bench for Ultra, that there's added pressure, especially on Beans coming in? No, I'm just curious because I feel like that might be a little bit like if Beans starts to have a bad split, those thoughts kind of creep in.
I think being solidified himself with he's been good all year.
Yeah. No, I think Ben's good. I think one is they just got to make sure Ben's visa situation is good.
I think it can be a positive though, Chelly. Like having, I guess it depends on like person, but if you like take it the right way, like, oh shit, there is a kid here who could, like, if I don't kick up, you know what I mean? Like, it could be a good driving force, but I don't think Ben's that kind of person. I think that
I don't think
that
he
guy's
is either.
exceedingly confident. I don't think it's.
It did result in good tweets from
Dude, his
him.
tweets
Though.
were fucking awesome.
I will
I'm
say,
getting nervous,
guys-
but I'm getting a little shaky.
They
Guys,
were
I will
so
say
good.
C9, I believe, are 2-0 against Toronto Ultra this season. So this isn't a heads
Their last
up.
matchup was at 3-0 at Major 2, right?
Yeah, Toronto is not
Really?
taking a map off of them this year. It could go both ways. Toronto could be really motivated for this match, or it could be, maybe just a weird team match diff. But it's hard for you to pick C9 Let's see them play.
Toronto's gonna start fucking peaking here soon, dude. I think
would hope so.
like in a good way, not in a bad way.
Oh,
I think
Toronto's
Toby.
not a
I
match?
think
Oh, yeah.
Toby's
Water.
he's getting there, bro. He's starting to get to that like takeover shit that we're used to him being. I think Joe's been super consistent outside of that random bad series that he had. I forgot who it was against at the major, but
Vancouver.
yeah, he got fried there. But
He shot bodies P1.
that was his first. Oh my god, you remember? That was his first bad series in a while. So I think this Toronto team, it might be a little sleeper grand final for the last couple of events.
Are they really a sleeper? I mean, they just got third. I don't think who's sleeping on them.
I don't know. I think people would still have FaZe in LAT on lane at least for a while. Like if they were to match up, like
they got to beat Vancouver's the team they got to beat. That's the team that's getting them in trouble. Both this event and the last event, they didn't win that match in losers finals.
fair.
You kick it off from there, so that we'll see. Let me see. Who does Toronto play this split? Oh, it's an interesting set. The Carolina C9 we talked about, Rocker, Vancouver, and OpTic. So there you go. They'll definitely make winners bracket, I would think, with the schedule. I think they beat OpTic in Minnesota and C9.
Yeah.
Maybe they drop 1-1. Like I think they're 3-2 worse. So
Whose schedule is Toronto's?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it should be 3 wins for sure. Probably 4.
I agree, but
Potentially
maybe
5.
they cry baby cheese about online again, or some bullshit happens. That is all of the matches. I got a couple of community questions, then we can bounce, boys. So as always, shout out to everybody that responded to tweets with a couple of questions. Some good ones, 2 event-related ones, and then one that I want to get Sam and Cap's thoughts on common wrestling topics. So, first up, we got a question from Cody Perez, SoulCap Cody, on Twitter. In case you are doing a Q&A, what's the league's problem with doing Pro-Ams again? Major 4 DreamHack would have been an excellent opportunity for 2 stages, 16 teams.
That's a you question, Benja.
Yeah, I could take this one. I think part of the issue is that the league, I think there's 2 issues. One is, I think the league is having a hard time, and the owners and the league figuring out how to do the Pro-Am format throughout the year. I think the best compromise is doing it at the beginning of the year and one at the middle of the year if you're going to do 2. I mean, right now, the only one we really have is EWC, and that's not even an official league event. So I just think it's just down to CDL and the owners. And I think if maybe the decision-making process or the people making decisions change, I think you start to see more of them, to be honest. But yeah, I agree. If we went to Major 4 and it was like an old CWL event, that would be a fucking massive W. But instead, it is a normal event, just with 2 stages. Anyone want to add
I'm
any
fine
thoughts?
with that. I mean, if I hope I said this a while ago, but I hope DreamHack is like an absolute smash, so they can see that like, the one stream isn't bad. Maybe that opens up like a little bit of a different formatting for next year potentially, or just maybe we go back to the Pro-Ams, whatever. Maybe however they want to label it. I just hope that it goes well because it's a non-traditional event. So if the numbers are good and all that, we'll see.
Is the challengers in the same room, like in the same?
Yeah. It's have you been to a CDL event, Chelly?
Have I been to a CDL event?
Or CWL, sorry, not CDL.
Oh no, I haven't been to CWL.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's just like a giant hall essentially, but it's one room with where everyone's at. It's very similar to like pre-CDL, which is nice.
I'll share the floor plan. Adam Apicella tweeted this out. So this is how it's going to be labeled out. So you see watch parties at the top of your screen. It's where us, OpTic, Breaking Point will be. And challengers is just this spot in the middle behind all the seats. Looks like about 3,000 seats. You got the analyst desk, and then around the analyst desk is challengers. Which will be really funny because people will be yelling and probably get picked up on. So
that's always good, though. It's always good content.
Yeah. They used to do, remember what they used to do is like they used to have the analyst desk and like a curtain behind it. Remember they used to do like the curtain, the ticker thing?
Yeah.
So, no, Ben, all 3 watch party stages are for us. Zin demanded his own stage. Fucking Zinny, man.
Zin demanded his own stage.
Guy fucking.
Way to lay down the laws, then.
I'm kind of excited for this watch party set next to each other. We can just kind of troll. Throw paper airplanes at Riley the whole time.
Is that what you're gonna do? You're gonna throw paper?
No, I'm not. I got to do coffee and cod. I gotta, be a W executive producer on land. So I'm excited for that. But this is the layout, and you can go look at Adam's tweets if you want to get tickets. I think a normal DreamHack ticket chat gets you into this, but you can buy a CDL add-on that will get you
guaranteed seating.
Cool. Well, let's move on. I got another solid question. This one's from my boy Turtle. It's a good one. With the limited amount of teams wanting to host majors, along with Animap running DH and K-Sound potentially running an Anaheim event, the CDL is starting to open up to outside third parties hosting LAN events. The answer to this question is yes, Turtle. They addressed this a year ago. When they did an article about the team participation agreement being updated, it specifically allowed situations like this. So yes, I think if people who are in the scene and have really good pitches, I think they're definitely open to it. I would love to see a Sam Octane Invitational one of these days.
Yeah, man, all that funding that I have for this, yeah, it'd be great. It should be, man. I mean, most successful esports barring like Riot, but I think that's the excluding factor. Like CS has so many different tourney operators, and I think it could increase the frequency of our events as well if people got involved and the CDL actually let the people that want to help. That would be nice.
Agreed.
Like
Anyone
the
else?
Falcons guy who wanted to help challengers. Like
Exactly.
he's got funding.
Exactly.
It's not just the Falcons guy. It's M. Dosteray, all-time FIFA player. But sure.
My bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. Last question. This one I want to go to you, Cap, first, because I think as a coach-player perspective, it's interesting. Kamikaze on Twitter asks, how does patches, map changes, etc. impact a player's mindset? A team like ATL be impacted by changes all year, like to getting the preferred map pool expanded, similar how it must felt the Terrors and the Sog buff 4 champs. Like as a coach, Cap, when players need to get
PTSD.
down or up on this, like what, like does that happen? And then like if you're in that role, like what do you do to kind of deal with it?
I don't know. I feel like most players kind of just take it in stride. Like,
Just roll with the punches, right?
yeah, you might be upset with the move, especially back in the day when it was like a vote to get a map removed. It was a lot more emotion in that. You're trying to convince other teams to like kind of take your side, you know. But now I feel like you just kind of roll with the punches. And it's just like is what it is. And I think a lot of people are putting like Kamikaze said, LAT is getting the preferred map pool expanded. Like they were good at Rewind 4 or 5 months ago. Like it's not doesn't mean they're going to be the best team on Rewind now. Like I think anyone who's just thinking that, especially like from a player team point of view, they're just kind of checking themselves out. Like if FaZe is not going to have that mind, it's like, oh, we're getting shafted here. Thieves is getting their best map. That's so unfair. Like that's just a weak mindset. If anyone's going through that, they should just be out of the league. I hate that shit. That's my take.
I'm kind of the same. I think you just roll with it, man. There's no point in bitching. It's not going to get you anywhere. I mean, sometimes it falls your way, though. Sometimes it doesn't. Like LAT, it's fallen their way this year. FaZe, not so much. They've lost pretty much all of their best maps in each mode, which is kind of tough. But yeah. I mean, again, no one's feeling bad for you, and you complaining isn't going to fix it. So you're just a competitor at the end of the day, and you, like I said, roll with the punches, bro. Play the maps you're supposed to.
Cool.
Cap, real quick, who would you, if you drop players on OpTic, sounds like you wanted OpTic to make a change, who would you pick up?
Ooh.
Merc,
Who would you drop on OpTic?
Well, I think they're all
guys
gonna
out,
say
Merc
Caesar.
in.
Cap, that's an insane take.
Wait, what did he say?
He said Caesar out for Merc. That is an insane
Insane
take.
man.
take. Wow, he's going out.
Wow.
on
And
a limb.
then I would also, I don't know who I would pick up necessarily, but I'd probably drop Kyler for. I don't know. Like I said earlier, I don't follow challengers that much, but I would figure out the best subs and challengers and pick one. Try it because
I think the best subs and challengers are all ex-CDL players at this point.
Yeah.
you know, would have tried to get Capsule, would have tried to get maybe that craze kid. I don't know. I would have tried something.
Well,
Can't believe you pick up Merc. That's fucking crazy.
Chelly
No,
with
it's
the,
really
Chelly with the crazy question. Someone said Sandy. OpTic Sandy would be pretty interesting. Afro would be Marcus would be an interesting pickup. He's playing pretty well in challenges right now. I just think the problem is always his visas, especially
4 euros, man. They won the event. It just doesn't even fucking matter.
in the role we're in. Chelly, we always do our best bet segment. I know some of the lines are up for tomorrow. Obviously, I think they'll probably add in the rest of the C9 lines. Any ones in particular you like?
Yeah, I'll take Nero Benjay because I'm sure he probably heard that you wanted him dropped, and he's probably gonna have one of those takeover series where he drops 70 plus. So I go Nero. Yeah, Nero 1 through 3, map 1, whatever you want to take.
Cool.
What about you?
Awesome.
You got anything?
I actually already put a play in.
Oh, what the
My
fuck?
God.
Gates.
Oh my god, we're
I
not
have to-
sharing?
I have to
Fucking
pry.
Wednesday.
I have to
I already-
pry.
I already have a lineup.
Thursday.
I already have a lineup. I did it earlier.
Jesus.
We got Abusa map 2 less 6.5 because historically hasn't hit this against Atlanta phase. Dylan Rex less on map 3 because, you know, we're playing Toronto.
Control.
Alec less on map 3. Again, I'm also fitting him there because he's struggling in the game mode. Then I got a Dante Masterclass more in the 57, maps 1 through 3.
I like that Dante play. Dude, Falcons do not play Hacienda or Protocol. Like, they'll just do anything that they can do to not play any of the. They just want the bang out maps, bro.
I know,
What?
and even then, Alec doesn't be hitting this line, so.
I will say Rewind, something to note for people that do like to bet on Call of Duty. Rewind was one of those lower engagement maps. Unless it was like a 250, 240, there's definitely less kills than Rewind and kind of similar to Protocol. I would say similar to but compared to Protocol, the amount of engagements.
Well, cool.
Look at Benjay's balance, man. Big fucking roller over there.
Damn,
Yeah, no, yeah.
doxing Benjay's.
Yeah.
The promo. Oh, Shades, I got off screen. Got shy.
Promo bucks.
You got
dude.
shot.
I got some
took it off
promo box
screen.
over there.
Little
Promo box.
promo
Shop price
bucks.
picks. Use code Benjay. All right. Anyway, that'll do it. It was a W show. We'll be doing these every week leading up to Major 4. We'll probably do it at the beginning of the week before some of us head off to Dallas for that event. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Follow us all on social media. You can check out the show if you watched it live and watch it back. It'll be on my YouTube. For those watching on YouTube, you can check us out on Twitch. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Shout out chat. Shout out my co-hosts. Thanks, Sam, Chelly, and Cap. We'll see you guys on the next one.